The shutter speed defines how long your sensor or film is exposed to light. An important thing to remember about shutter speed is that a fast shutter speed will help you freeze motion, and a slow shutter speed will help you produce motion blur. It's also important to remember that you want to generally have a fast shutter speed to avoid unwanted camera shake, unwanted motion blur. That isn't always the case. Sometimes, for example, let's say you wanted to photograph a helicopter. It's up in the air and you take it with a really fast shutter speed, but you see that your photo, the blades they don't even look like they're moving. So it's probably better in some situations to use a slower shutter speed so you get intentional motion blur. As you double your shutter speed, the amount of light changes by 1 eV. I'll give you an example of how it works. So at 1/125th of a second, you would use f11 for the aperture. If you don't know, the aperture is the opening inside your lens that is variable. You can change the size of it. To get the same exact exposure at 1/250th of a second, you would use f8 instead of f11. Or at 1/500th of a second, you would use f5.6 instead of f8 or instead of f11. So it works pretty nicely like that to figure out your proper exposure. A nice guideline to remember is that you base your shutter speed on your lens focal length. So if you have a 50mm lens, or you're using a zoom lens that's at 50mm, you'd probably use something around 1/60th of a second shutter speed to avoid unwanted blur. And then if you had a 100mm lens, you'd use 1/100th of a second shutter speed. It's just a little rule of thumb. It's not something you should follow religiously, but it'll help you get those nice sharp photos. So those are the basics of shutter speed. Thanks.